Hey, my name is Greg, and I am here for you. I'm coming to many cities. I'm coming to Perth, literally this Friday, from when I'm saying this. What day is it today? Today's the 4th. I'm coming to Perth on the 6th and the 7th. And then I'm coming to Adelaide on the 12th, 13th and 14th. And then I'm going to the Melbourne International Comedy Festival starting on the 26th of March up until the 5th of April. So please come and see my comedy festival show, Unrelenting Ultraviolence. It's going to be fun. There's going to be jokes in there. You're going to love it. So come along, Unrelenting Ultraviolence, Greg Larson, in a city near you. More dates to be announced. Sydney, Brisbane, maybe New Zealand. No, definitely New Zealand. I'm just waiting to hear back. Thank you.
The Greg Larson Show. The big unit is ready to go. The Greg Larson Show. Muck around on the marzipan. A fresh custard in his hand. The greatest podcast in all the land. Greg Larson Show. Yeah. Trivia.
Welcome back to the Greg Larson Show. I am pausing the series, although it doesn't matter. Like I can just do it. I didn't have to tell you that it was necessarily going to be consecutive. But I was doing, I was going to do a bunch of episodes about different types of government to find out which one's the best one. The next one's fascism. That'll come out. It will come out next week. It's basically done. I just need to record it. You know. There's been a little bit of news. There's been a little bit of news in the news, and people are coming to me. People are messaging me. They're coming up to me on the street going, Greg, you're smart. I'm like, I know. They're like, you're smart. You've got a bachelor's degree in arts, a bachelor of arts with honors. You go on Wikipedia a lot. I'm like, yeah, I know. I fucking go on Wikipedia a lot. There's an article on Wikipedia about, squirrels that you probably haven't even heard about. I've heard about it. That's how much I'm reading it. Rocks, muffins, the planet Neptune. I'm looking on Wikipedia a lot. I know a lot about. I know a little bit about a lot of things, and people want to know how to think and feel and have opinions about war with Iran.
Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Ho, ho, ho.
I tried to push the Crabman sound and failed twice in a row.
Crabman.
People want to know what to think about the war with Iran. And I'm going to tell you what to think. You don't need to, don't read stuff. Don't look up stuff. Just listen to me. I'll tell you how to think and feel. All right? I'm a 42-year-old university graduate comedian with internet access. I know what's going on. I got a microphone, okay? And you don't. I know what's going on. Listen to Daddy Geggy, and I'll tell you. So I just want to do, I had a little bit of success with my History of Israel episode. It wasn't called History of Israel. I think it was called Geggy On Israel. So now it's time for Geggy On Iran. What's the deal with it? Why is Iran? Why are we going to war with Iran? I say we, I mean Australia isn't, but we've openly supported them, and fucking Anthony Albanese wants to put his tongue up Donald Trump's asshole. So I reckon it's even odds that we will go to war with them. We are an ally with the United States and with Israel, unfortunately. So what's going on with Iran? Why is Iran going to war? What's the history of Iran? Is Iran bad? You know, it's weird to me that people say I hear some people, it's not weird, but not everyone is as worldly as me. Not everyone else has spent many, many months in the South Bank Visitor Centre not talking to customers and clicking random article on Wikipedia because Wikipedia was the only website that wasn't banned. Some people are like, oh, is Iran really that bad? Or Iran is really, really bad and Israel's really good. And I don't know the history of Iran. What's going on with Iran? I'll tell you what's going on with Iran. This is the only thing you need to know. This is the history of Iran in, how many words is this? Fucking half an hour to an hour. It's the blitzkrieg history of Iran. I shouldn't have used that word.
Can we get a price check on a gob job, please? That's a price check on one gob job. Can I just get a quick price check on a sloppy wet gob job? I'm just going to need a price check on that gob job. Gob job.
All right, so we'll start at the beginning. I'm not going to do like the Israel episode. I went through really at the beginning. I started at the Big Bang and I went through the formation of the planet Earth and all that. We can kind of gloss over a lot of that. Honestly, we can gloss over almost all of it if we're being really honest. I mean, I don't want to get bogged down in all the. Like, we're mostly going to go 20th century and beyond, and just give you like the cliff notes of what's going on with Iran, why and where and why and who and how. So. To put it in simple terms, Iran is it's one of the oldest continuous civilizations in the world, right? There's been a civilization in Iran, an Iranian empire, kingdom, whatever. There's a lot of things you can call it, for a very, very long time. A long time ago, we used to refer to it as Persia, the Persian Empire. I don't think the people in the Persian Empire ever really referred to it as the Persian Empire. But it's a bit like how we call the Byzantine Empire, but they called it the Roman Empire. It's a bit like how we call fucking Germany, Germany, and they call it Deutschland. Like, there's different names for different things at different times. There's too boring and irrelevant to go into all the different names. We called them the Persian Empire. That's who I'm talking about. Basically, we'll call them the Iranian Empire, right? The Iranian Empire. They were known by many names. They were big. They were a big old empire, right? Back in olden times, and I'm talking like BC. I'm talking, or whatever I know there's like BC and AD, but now it's like BCE or CE. And I don't know what's the CE and the BCE, BD is me.
Crab man.
Ancient times, Persian Empire, the Iranian Empire was massive. They were big. They were one of the big main ones. Probably one of the first really massive, proper big empires that maybe ever existed. They did a lot of conquest. They did a lot of slavery. They did a lot of building temples, all the kinds of shit that ancient civilizations did. They did it, right? Carving shit into stone, building statues. At one point, there was a guy called Cyrus the Great, and he's the one who made the empire fucking massive. And everyone, they thought Cyrus the Great was fucking great. They loved him, right? The Greeks were like, who's this fucking Cyrus guy? He's fucking cool. And they were like, we hate him because, he's trying to take us over, but also fucking full respect to the boys, right? He was kind of loved and hated, but whatever. He was an important figure in really early Persian/Iranian empire. Also, by the way, a disclaimer, as with every disclaimer in any episode where I talk about stuff, I'll mispronounce everything and I'll get everyone's name wrong and I'll fuck it up. I'll fuck it up so hard. That's not intentional. That's because I can't. I don't know if I have. What's dyslexia? I don't know what dyslexia is. You can't read. You can read, but you can't. I don't know. There's so many times where I've been caught short, where I've said a word out loud that I feel like I've only ever read, and then people laugh at me and go, "That is not how you pronounce that word." But anyway. So if you've ever seen the movie 300, forget it. Nothing like that, right? The Persian Empire, it was a very big empire. It was the heart of the civilized world. Everyone aspired to it. Everyone looked up to it. And there was a guy called Alexander. He was also called Suffix the Great. He thought the Persian Empire was the best fucking empire in the world. And he's like, oh, I'm having that. I'm having it. And he took over. And he took over the entire Persian Empire. And he had it for a bit, but then he died of poison or something else. Probably poison. Long story short, Persian Empire, Iranian Empire, whatever you want to call it, it was a massive empire. At various times, the biggest empire on the face of the earth. At its height, it stretched from Greece to Egypt to India. It was huge, right? And it was a huge and diverse place with a lot of different people. But they had a main religion. They had like, I guess, a state religion or whatever. For a long time, that was Zoroastrianism. Zoroastrianism. I don't know how to pronounce fucking Zoroastrianism. And I'll be honest with you, I know fuck all about Zoroastrianism, so I'm not even going to talk about it. It's a religion that doesn't really exist. It does exist. There's still some people that follow it, but fuck all. I think it was one main god, but maybe two. I don't know anything about it, so fucking don't ask me, man. Stop talking about it. I don't know shit about it. But for a long time, that was the main religion. But then everyone invented these Aramaic religions. Judaism came first, then Christianity, then Islam. And Islam really took off in Persia / Iran. That became the main religion. And Iran became an Islamic empire. And it went from being a huge, massive, most important empire in the world to a pretty important empire in the region to a kind of important empire, sort of relatively small, not too important over a long, long period of time, right? But it never really sort of went away. There was always a king or a shah, as they would refer to it. With so many empires, there's always different things. You know, people refer to kings and emperors, and in that place they weren't actually called the king. You know, whatever. It's shah is good. Is the word they would use. Now, it was an Islamic empire, an Islamic country, sort of an empire sort of evolved into, I guess, a country called Iran. Islam is the main kind of religion, is the main religion there, and there's two kinds of Islam. I mean, I think there's lots, but I mean, there's lots of differences in sects and whatever, but there's the Sunni and the Shiite branches of Islam. And I don't really understand why they're that different. I'm not a religious person, and I'm not really studying up on religions and looking into them. But as I sort of understand it, to gloss over it, I think the main difference is one of them reckons there was one guy who was like, this guy is like a proper cool guy. And then the other sect is like, oh no, this other guy is a proper cool guy. And they argue about which one's more important. And the Sunnis and the Shiites, they argue about this, and they fucking hate each other, right? They hate each other. It's kind of like how Protestants and Catholics are always trying to kill each other, right? They're just like, they're so mad. They're like, we believe the same thing basically, but with a few semantic differences, and I'm going to fucking kill you because of it. They're always going on, Catholics and Protestants are always going about something called transubstantiation, and I don't know what that is. There's always like religions where there's like the main religion, and then there's offshoots of the religion where they're nitpicking about little details. Like they'll be arguing about tiny little details about like which guy is the main guy, or what's this one rule about eating meat on a Friday. But if I was religious, which I'm not, but like, I mean, my first question would be like, instead of going on about the meat on the Fridays, I'd be going, how did that cunt get all the animals in the world into a boat? And how the earth flooded for 40 days. Like, I'm not that smart, but I've seen boats, and I've got a year 10 level understanding of basic weather and physics. And that seems like fucking bullshit. This whole, like, before we even get into the semantics of the fucking meat on the Fridays and which guy let's talk about this boat guy. Are we seriously buying this boat thing? Anyway, I don't know. I don't want to be like an edgelord atheist, but you're making it hard. Anyway, Iranians, they were ruled for many millennia, I guess, by a series of absolute monarchs, kings. Again, shahs was what was the word they would use. And for most of history, I would say heaps of countries. Yeah, in my opinion, a lot of countries had kings or monarchs or emperors or whatever the fuck. And for most of history, that seems to be what most countries had. And for a while, everyone was cool with it. And then around the 18th, 19th, 20th century, especially around Europe, but also all around the world, people started going, why don't these kings fuck off? Can we get rid of these fucking monarchs? What are they fucking doing? What are they doing with their fucking crown? And Iran was no exception, right? By the end of the 19th century, the clergy, the Shia clerics, the religious leaders in Iran, they had a lot of influence. They had a lot of political influence. They were very popular with the population, with the people. But the Shah, and when I say the Shah, I mean the king, whatever, Shah means king is the whole point of this. I'm not going to keep restating this same point over and over again.
Crab Man.
He was the crab man. The Shah was the Shah. He had absolute power. And at the time, at around the end of the 19th century, Iran is not particularly powerful on the world stage. And they were really, the British were kind of having a little look-see. This is the time when the British Empire is at its height. They're carving up the world. And they're happy with this king, this Shah in Iran. They're happy with that. They don't really want to take over Iran, but they do want all the stuff Iran has. Right? They want all the stuff. They want oil. Oil's cool now. Oil is fucking cool at the end of the 19th century. Everyone's like, fucking, have you heard about this oil, dude? I'm into it. And the Shah, at the time, at the end of the 19th century, loved the British, and loved their money, keen on their money. Another thing that was cool around this time was tobacco, right? Tobacco was very, very cool. People were like, hey, if you smoke cigarettes, other people think you're fucking cool. And they were right to think that. If you smoke a cigarette, people look at you and they go, what? Hang on a second. This is actually true. When I was in high school, this is how dumb kids are. I was in high school and I smoked cigarettes. And I remember doing it because I thought, people will think I'm cool if I smoke cigarettes. And then one of the cool kids at high school, when he came behind the lockers one time and I was smoking a cigarette, he goes, oh, Greg, I didn't know you were cool. That's how, and then I became a smoker because a boy in a school said I was cool. That's how fucking dumb. Anyway, that's got nothing to do with nothing.
Crab Man.
But what was going on? Iran had a big tobacco industry. And at the end of the 19th century, the Shah of Iran, he said that the British could have a monopoly on all tobacco production, trade, etc. Right? The Shah said, yeah, you can have it all. Here's like a 50-year lease. You have a monopoly on tobacco. And heaps of people, hundreds of thousands of people in Iran worked in the tobacco industry, and they were fucking pissed off. Everyone was pissed off that the British had a monopoly on the whole industry. The British were going to get all the profits, all the money. They could do whatever they want. And the clerics, the Shia clerics, the clergy of Iran, they were dead against this. They were dead against the British having a monopoly on the tobacco industry, and they riled up the population. They organised nationwide protests and nationwide boycotts, and it worked. The clergy showed that they had real power. The people listened to them, and it worked. The Shah backed down. The Shah said, I'm sorry. There's a bad idea. Cancelling the deal with the British. The British don't have a monopoly on tobacco. Iran got all their smokes back, all their durries. The durry revolution, I'm calling it. The durry revolution of the 19th century. And so we got now on the scoreboard, we got the clergy 1, Shah 0, right? Now at the start of the 20th century, people in Iran, like even though the Shah backed down and the monopoly on tobacco never happened, the people were still like, yeah, this is fucking. Do we like this guy? Do we fucking are we cool with this guy? What are we? Is he just going to do this fucking shit again? He can't do this fucking shit again. What kings and monarchs and shahs? Fucking, I don't know about this stuff. And the people, spurred on by the clerics, they were like, we want rights. We want rights. We want like a constitution. We want to have the ability to have things. And the Shah said, fine, you can have some rights. And then Iran got a constitution and it got a parliament, which it didn't have before. And in theory, the Shah didn't have absolute power. But in reality, pretty much did. He still had heaps of power. Nothing really changed. And people were super unhappy, right? They were super unhappy. There was unrest. There was chaos. World War I happened. That was fucking, I don't know if you heard about that. That was a pretty big deal. Stuff was going on all over the Middle East, everywhere. People were unhappy. Iran was very chaotic. And a guy came along in 1921 called Reza Khan, and he did a coup. He was like a general, an army guy, with a big gun, with the big boys. And he did a coup, took over the government, deposed the Shah in 1921. He was like, no more Shah, get out of here, Shah. And then he said, now I'm the Shah. And Reza Khan became Reza Shah. And he said, this is going to be a constitutional monarchy, right? This is not an absolute monarchy. This is a constitutional monarchy. And he basically then said, women should have more rights. I think women should have more rights. I think they shouldn't have to wear hijabs or burqas or any kind of face coverings or headscarves. And he said, I think that, they shouldn't have to wear that. And people went, oh, yeah. But everyone was like Muslim and they were all like, but we want to wear it. And he said, well, okay, let me rephrase. I'm forcing you not to wear all that stuff. That's right. A burqa ban. Iran had a burqa ban. The Reza Shah was the Pauline Hanson of Iran in the early 20th century. He did a ban on basically any Islamic garb. He said, you want to wear a face covering? You want to wear a burqa? You want to wear a hijab? You want to wear anything? Get fucked. We're secular now. Islamic laws, out of here. No more Islamic laws. We're going Western. We're going full. And he had cops on the streets. And if they saw a woman with a headscarf, the cops would rip it off and chuck it in the bin and go, fuck off. You're not wearing that shit. So it was like, was it progressive? Was it is that woke or is that anti-woke? When it's like, it would blow people's minds in Melbourne in 2026. Like, I don't understand, but it's a Muslim country and they're banning the burqa. They're saying women should have more rights, but then they don't have the right to wear the burqa. I'm confused. Yeah, fucking, it's history, dude. Get over it. The long story short is he said no more Islamic laws, no more Islamic dress. We're going to modernize, we're going to westernize. And if you put on a headscarf, I'm going to rip it the fuck off with my cops. And everybody hated it. Everyone fucking hated it. Islam, very popular. People like, and it was becoming more and more popular, right? It's easy for us to think, especially in the West, that Islam is this kind of, we have this view of it being this sort of very traditional fundamentalist religion that's always been like that. No, that's not really true, right? Like, you can't draw pictures of Muhammad now, but you could. Back in the Islamic Golden Age, they were drawing pictures of Muhammad left, right, and center. They didn't give a fuck. Like, at various points, and it's the same with Christianity, it's the same with all religions. At various points, people are really into it, and then they kind of get a bit relaxed about it, and they go, yeah, I guess we'll go to church or the mosque or whatever, like, if we can be bothered. And then something will happen, and then they'll get more fundamental, and they'll go, no, this is because we stopped going to the church or the mosque or whatever, right? people were becoming more fundamentalist and more devout because of, bloody the British taking all their tobacco and their oil and all the rest of it, right? It was this thing that people were starting to feel a bit more pride in their origins and their traditions, and anything that was against the West, they were a bit more like, this is all right. So people hated these laws that banned the burqa. They did not like it. They hated the West because they were always trying to get their, oil and tobacco and all the rest of it. And then World War II happened. And in 1941, Reza Shah was deposed by the British and the Soviets because he loved Hitler. And liking Hitler is an extremely risky political position, especially in World War II. He was a fan of Hitler, so the British and the Soviets went, get this fucking guy out of here. See ya. You're out of here. And they replaced him with his son, Mohammad Reza Shah. And this guy would be the last Shah ever in Iran because he fucking sucked. But he basically made the country, he made sure that the country was a constitutional monarchy, right? He was like, people can vote and they can have some freedoms, they can have some freedoms, they can do some votes. He was sort of, pro-Western, but at the same time he was pretty moderate, like at first. But then a big thing happened. Right? A big thing happened that was like, and this big thing happened was like the main thing. This is the big thing that, sowed the seeds for the Iranian Revolution. This was a big boy thing. This happened in 1953. In 1953, there was a new prime minister, and I'm not going to be able to pronounce his name properly. Mohammad Mossadegh. I can't pronounce it. I'm sorry. He was at one point he was a member of the Socialist Party. I don't think he was a member of the Socialist Party when he was elected. I don't know. He certainly had communist sympathies. He was very pro-democracy, very pro-Iran, very pro-socialism and communism and all that kind of stuff. And people loved him. He was popular. And he was very, very pissed off because there was an oil company that was operating in Iran, but it wasn't an Iranian oil company. It was a British oil company, and it was called the Anglo-Iranian Oil Company. They have a new name now. They are no longer the AIOC. They are now called BP, British Petroleum. You might have heard of them. You might have bought a pack of durries at one of them. You might have bought a sausage roll at one of them. BP, right? But at the time, they were called the Anglo-Iranian Oil Company. And they owned heaps of Iranian oil. And they were operating in Iran, as the name would suggest. And they had a ton of money, ton of oil. They owned a bunch of Iranian oil reserves. And they were taking an absolute ton of money. They were just raking it in from Iranian oil. And that money was all going over to Great Britain, or Großbritannien, as the Germans would say. And Mossadegh wanted to audit the AIOC, the Anglo-Iranian Oil Company. He wanted to audit them because he was like, I don't think they're paying their fair share of tax. I think they got a bit of corruption going on. I think they're taking too much of our profits and they're taking them away. I think this company's bad news. I want to audit them, which is, he was elected. He was an elected official, and he was like, I want to audit this company that's operating in Iran and taking all our oil and money. I want to audit them, see what's going on, make sure they're paying their tax, right? Perfectly legal. It was what the people wanted. They voted him in, and he did that. And then the Anglo-Iranian Oil Company said, how about you go fuck yourself and you suck our dicks off? We're just not going to do it. We're not going to. What are you going to do? Fucking go to war with us? Fuck you. We're Britain. We're Britain, big boy. And they just said, no, we're not going to let you audit us, because they were definitely not paying their fair share of tax and definitely doing all kinds of corrupt, dodgy dealings and shipping money and oil away from the people who, rightfully should be profiting from that, the Iranian people. And then the Prime Minister and his government, they turned around and said, well, double fuck you. You don't want to get audited? Well, then we've just passed a law. We're going to nationalize our oil industry. That's right. We own it now. You remember how you used to own it? Fuck off. You don't. It's ours. Get the fuck out. How do you like that? How do you like dem apples? He's like banging up against the window like Goodwill Hunting. How the fuck do you like that? Also, let's get rid of the fucking Shah altogether. How do you fucking like dem apples? How do you like dem apples? Because the Shah was like very much in league with the Anglo-Iranian oil company, taking all their money and all that. And the Prime Minister, this new socialist Prime Minister, he basically said, yeah, the Shah can fuck off. Britain can fuck off. The BP or the AIOC, as they were called at the time, can fuck the fuck off. He did what he was, I guess, allowed to do, what he had been elected to do. The people of Iran liked him and they wanted him to do this. And then everything was happily ever after. Wrong. That's an impression of the CIA and MI6 British intelligence. They said, nah, man, that's not happening. You are not taking your own oil. You want your own oil? Get fucked. That's our oil. Your oil is our oil. Get fucked. And so they said, this whole democracy thing in Iran, I think this has run its course. We can't have Iranian people electing cunts again. This is no good. He's kicking out the Shah. He's trying to have rights and stand up for his country. Fuck this cunt. So they launched an operation. It's called Operation Ajax. The CIA called it Operation Ajax. The British called it something else, Operation Boot something. I can't fucking remember what the British call it. They called it something else. It's Operation Ajax. They launched a coup against the Prime Minister and overthrew him. They overthrew the democratically elected government and brought the Shah back and said, nah, the Shah is firmly in power. And said, let's not have this fucking democracy shit getting in the way of our profits again. And the Shah made some big sweeping changes called the White Revolution. And that revolution was basically making sure that the monarchy was a fucking full absolute monarchy again. The Shah is the boss of bosses. The Shah is totally in control, total power. And now he was like, he was saying, oh, this is good. I'm altruistic. I care about the people. And he said, hey, women, you get to vote now. He was like, you get to vote. Women have been enfranchised in Iran for the first time. You get to vote. But he also said, you can only vote for one political party because all other parties are banned. I'm in charge forever, so voting doesn't matter. Right? He banned all forms of political parties. America and Britain, they can have all the oil they want. He basically said, Iran, this fucking Islam, we don't like it anymore. We're going to be a Western country. You're all free of the oppression of religion. You're free from the oppression of religion. Stop being oppressed by this religion and welcome to being oppressed by multinational corporations. And also welcome to being oppressed by me, the big boy Shah with the big old dick. And the Shah shot a bunch of people that were in the government that tried to nationalize the oil industry. He said, how about you get shot in the face? He started a new secret police that went around just getting people, just getting them, just fucking, what are you trying to organize a vote? Get fucked, fuck you. And the Shah was really shitty, and he made Iran really shitty. He made Iran really, really shitty. Everyone was upset. They had no political parties to join. They had no unions or anything. And the Shah got really, really fucking rich. He was swimming in gold. And technically the country was swimming in gold. On paper, Iran became extremely prosperous. On paper. A bit like how in Australia right now, we're making money hand over fist from like natural gas exports on paper. But that wealth isn't in the hands of Australians. And the same thing was happening in Iran. The wealth was not in the hands of working class people. It wasn't in the hands of normal Iranians, right? Oil companies are making money hand over fist, but then taking that money to where they live in America and in Britain. The poor were staying poor. And the Shah did some things, right? He's like encouraging people to get educations and all the rest of it. But then it's this fucking double-edged sword, right? Because he's like, oh, go get an education, go to a university. They're going to university, they get an education. Then they're like, oh, can I have a job? Nah, no fucking jobs, man. All the fucking good jobs are from fucking overseas workers, taking all the oil and shit like that, right? Now you got this population that's getting smarter, getting more aware of their rights, but they got no money and no jobs, while the Shah is literally just chilling in golden palaces and killing anyone who disagrees with him. I can't state enough. Everyone hated the fucking Shah. The people just hated this system. They hated it, right? They fucking hated it. This is the thing that people always forget when they're talking about oppressive governments and regimes and, revolutions and all the rest of it. They forget that, like, oftentimes an oppressive government or regime took the place of another oppressive government and regime, right? This was terrible, and people fucking hated the Shah. He was so unpopular. Nobody liked him. And for so many different reasons. There were so many groups of people that were all united in the fact that they hated this government, they hated America, they hated Britain, they hated the ultra-rich American and British companies that were getting richer and richer whilst normal Iranians were getting poorer and poorer. And they were fucking jack of it. And there's so many fucking things that happen. There's so many little events, big events, so many protests for so many different reasons. It sort of doesn't, like, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter getting into all the specifics. I'm just a guy with a fucking sound desk. I can't go into all the myriad reasons why there were big protests, but there were big protests. There were lots of different things. Ultimately, no one had any fucking money, no one had any fucking jobs, and they were sick of this fucking Shah. There were big protests in 1978, and the Shah said, hey, why don't you fucking cops go down there and bash the fuck out of these protesters? And the police bashed them. Some people died and all the rest of it. And then people went, nah, fuck this. And they protested even harder. They got bashed even harder. And it just kept happening, getting bigger and bigger and bigger until it just was beyond, like, the point of the original protest doesn't even matter because they were protesting that they couldn't protest. They were protesting that you're trying to beat up protesters, right? And it got to the point where the Shah literally just fucking ran away. That's the Iranian Revolution, right? Is people, and certainly people in America or fucking wherever will try and portray it as the Iranian Revolution was like, I don't know, maybe some fucking evil generals taken over or whatever. This was definitely a popular revolution. Students, workers, fucking ultra conservatives, liberals, everyone. And that's the thing. There was very little cohesion in what kind of government people wanted after this, but they all were agreed, we want this fucking Shah out of here. Get this fucking guy out of here. And they had a revolution. He ran away, never came back. Shah gone. Iran was free of this maniac dictator that had sold their country out to Britain and America. So this is the Iranian Revolution, right? 1979, the big show. The thing to remember, the two main things to remember is everyone hated the Shah and everyone hated America and Britain, especially America, for overthrowing their democratically elected prime minister and for fucking up their country, right? Everyone was united in their hatred of the Shah, of the America, of Britain. But there were different groups. There were lots of different people with lots of different hatreds and angers and things going on. Broadly speaking, you could say there were pro-democracy, I guess, liberals, university-educated people that wanted more democracy, more freedom, more rights, more economic equality. And there were also people who were more in the very conservative religious right, who were like, we want more Islamic laws. We want to return to Islamic laws. We want, we want to get rid of Western values, Christian values. We want to return to Islamic traditions, Islamic law. And so you had all these two groups, and the pro-democracy people weren't necessarily like, oh, we like Islamic law, but they did reject the West because of BP and all the rest of it, right? So they kind of, on some level, did like the fact that, oh yeah, cool, return to traditional Islamic values is maybe, a good thing. At least it's a rejection of the West. And these two broad groups sort of thought they had a good idea, right? They were like, we've got this good idea. We're going to merge this new kind of government that we have. We're going to merge these two things together. We're going to have a democracy with elections and political parties, but also have a religious council overseen by a supreme leader. And that supreme leader, in this case, was Ayatollah Khomeini. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm sorry. He was like sort of he was a Shia cleric, and he was the first supreme leader. And so basically the idea was we'll have this sort of democratically elected government, but then this religious council with the supreme leader, the Ayatollah, and they would have final say to make sure that any law that was passed complied with Islam, right? So, and in theory, they thought, well, maybe this makes everyone happy. You got the best of both worlds. You got a bit of religion, bit of democracy. Good idea, right? No, it was a fucking shit idea. Because the supreme leader is now a religious dictator. They used to have a Western-loving capitalist dictator, and now they have a religious dictator. They just got another fucking dictator. And that's what happens over and over again. History is just... the history of most countries is just watching someone replace something terrible with something worse. Or maybe not even worse, maybe just different worse, or different bad. Like I remember a few years ago, everyone will remember the fucking bushfires when the volunteer firefighter was like, fuck you, ScoMo, fuck you, you're not welcome here. And everyone was like, yeah, fucking ScoMo, you piece of shit. Because, for any non-Australian listeners, our Prime Minister at the time, Scott Morrison, ScoMo, was a real cunt, and he was away during the bushfires and didn't really give a shit about these bushfires that were costing lives and homes. And this guy said, like, fuck you, ScoMo, fuck you, you're not welcome here. And everyone thought this guy was a national hero. And then a few days later, there was an interview with him where he's like, yeah, man, we need to get rid of ScoMo. Pauline Hanson, she's the one for us. She's going to save this country. Pauline Hanson, for international listeners, is a Nazi who thinks that climate change is a hoax made by pedophile leftists. So that's what I'm saying. Like, is throughout history, people have bad governments, and then they're like, let's overthrow them, and then they're like, yeah, and then they overthrow them with like a really bad government. I mean, we do the same all the time. I said this in another episode, but it's like, we were like, oh, the mainstream media, it's really bad. It's bad that only a few people own it, and it's biased, and there's all this kind of, there's problems with the mainstream media. So we invented something way worse called social media, which is like mainstream media, except even less factual and less reliable and fucking destroying our brains and turning us into slop, right? They had a dictator who was obsessed with money, who was selling out their country, and now they got a dictator who wants everyone to fucking shut the fuck up and do what he says because he knows what the word of God is, right? But it became a brutal society. It became a religious society, but it wasn't a dictatorship that was engineered by a CIA coup. And it may come as a shock to people. You might faint to hear this, but it was super popular. The country had a referendum. Do you want a supreme leader? Everyone said, fuck, yes, we do. right? People often forget when it comes to dictatorships, oppressive regimes, and all the rest of it, is oftentimes, if they're not based on a CIA coup, they oftentimes, especially if they start with a popular uprising, a lot of people are like keen as a bean. There were a lot of people in Germany who were like, yep, Hitler, good on him. We love him. It happens. I mean, you fucking look at countries that absolutely brutalize populations like Israel. Like the majority of Israelis think the government's fucking cool. It may come as a shock to you, but there's a lot of people who live in oppressive regime. We like to imagine that there's an oppressive regime where there's like 4 guys at the top who are like, we're bad, and the rest of society all want them gone, but they're too scared to do anything. No, the rest of society, oftentimes it's like 60% of them are like, yeah, we like this. This is what we want. And that is what, for better or worse, what I'm saying is this is what the Iranian people overwhelmingly wanted. I'm not saying that's a good thing. It's not a good thing. The Iranian regime is very bad. You heard it here first. I'll admit it. I'll say it. Iran, bad government. The people wanted it. They were sick of the West. They were sick of the erosion of their country. They thought a return to fundamentalist conservative Islamic values would be a nice antidote. And it wasn't. Iran is now a horribly oppressive totalitarian regime. And in the last decade or so, young people who don't really remember life under the Shah, they don't remember life, back when Britain and America were in full control of the country, they are sick of religious fundamentalism. They are sick of not having rights. They are sick of having, religious police policing what they wear. They are sick of, people getting the death penalty and hung in the fucking town square. They have been protesting, and the Iranian government has been killing those protesters because the Iranian government is fucking evil. They're bad. They are. Shocking, I know.
Hey, that's a spicy meatball.
So Iran is a theocracy, a religious dictatorship that brutally represses the population. But that has nothing to do with the war. Like, that's the thing that people need to understand, right? There's brutal, oppressive regimes all over the world. That has nothing to do with why America hates Iran. That has nothing to do with why Israel hates Iran. America wants oil, Israel wants land. That's why this war is happening. That's it. It gets framed as a religious conflict. It's not. It's always about money. Every fucking conflict in the world is about money, but religion is often what they use to rile up the masses to get them to die. Religion is a great excuse to get someone to die for you because it's hard to motivate someone to have their skull pried open like a soup can when the reason that they're dying is because some multinational investment firm thinks there's a fucking dollar in it. From the Crusades to the war with Iran today, so many wars in the Middle East are just money, money, money. And they use religion to get you to get you riled up. But Israel and Iran hate each other. And the reason that the war is happening, the reason America is involved is because of Israel. Israel has dictated terms. They've said, we're attacking Iran, we're going for Iran, right? Israel and Iran hate each other. Now, a lot of people say this is because of Jews and Muslims hating each other, dating back millennia. That's all bullshit, right? For most of history, Jews and Muslims have lived alongside each other for a long time, and not been particularly upset with each other. In Iran, and this is not me saying, oh, Iran is good, Iran is bad. I've just said it. But being Jewish is protected in Iran. It is enshrined in law that you're not allowed to discriminate against people for being Jewish. You're allowed to practice your religion. There are synagogues in Iran. There are laws that protect them. The Iranian government does officially say that Israel should not exist. The Iranian government believes Israel should not exist, but they've always maintained that they don't think that Jews should be killed. They their official position, and I'm using air quotes when I say this because I'm not buying into the Iranian line, but their official position is that Palestine should be a secular, a one-state solution with Jews and Muslims living side by side with equal rights. That is the Iranian official position. That's all in theory. In reality, a lot of Iranians on the ground probably hate Jewish people, right? They in reality, being a Jew in Iran would fucking suck because the government surveils you 24/7. Everyone thinks you're a spy for Israel. And if you don't think there's, serious anti-Semitism over there, you're fucking kidding yourself. It's real and it's everywhere. It's also, it would be way worse though to be a Muslim in Israel, because it's like, they don't even, because Iran at least has the pretense, or like they say, the law says you can't be discriminated. In Israel, the law literally says if you're Muslim, you're subhuman. The law unequivocally states that Muslims aren't real people. Not the same. The Muslims and Arabs, they're not the same. If you're a Muslim or an Arab or both, one is an ethnicity, one is a religion. The vast majority of Muslim people there are Arabs and vice versa. But if you're a Muslim in Israel, you could wake up one morning and find your entire farm, your entire house has been stolen, all legally, all sanctioned by the government. You have to go through military checkpoints if you just want to go to a shop and buy some bread, and maybe they decide, nah, you're not buying bread today, or they'll just shoot you in the street like a dog for no reason at all and face no repercussions. It's so bad. People do understand, but they just don't they talk about how repressive Iran is. It's not even close to how oppressive Israel is. Israel's not oppressive to its own citizens, but the thing is, millions of people in there who they have total control over, who are in their, quote unquote borders, they're just like, yeah, you're not technically citizens, you're subhuman, so we can do whatever the fuck we want to you. It's fucking brutal. Anyway, you got these two countries that hate each other. And for the main population of each country, it's because of ethnic and religious tension, right? I don't like you because you're Muslim. I don't like you because you're Jewish. For the leaders, it's all about economic power. Iran does not want a US proxy, and Israel is a US proxy. You could pretty comfortably call Israel essentially the 51st state of America. Like, they have a huge amount of power in Washington. It's really common for congressmen and women to wear fucking Israel pins. They all, like the AIPAC, which is the, I forget what the fucking every letter stands for. It's the Israel Lobby in America. They donate billions of dollars. And Israel is entirely funded by America. Like, American taxpayers pay for everything there. The Iron Dome, the nuclear missiles that they have, and they do have quite a few nuclear missiles. Iran doesn't want that. They don't want a country that they are enemies with having a proxy, which is Israel, full of nuclear weapons and Scud missiles and all kinds of fucking shit with tanks and bombs and they don't want that, right? They're worried because of the past, because of the coup that they did once, that the US is going to take over their country and take over all their oil, and having a country that close to them is going to, with nuclear weapons and a big fucking military, is going to do that. That's what Iran is worried about. They're worried that we don't want Israel here because they're going to fucking kill us. And Israel doesn't want Iran there because Israel wants to expand. Israel's current borders are much smaller than what Zionism says that the borders should be, right? Ever since its invention in 1948, and Israel was invented in 1948, there's never been a historical country, nation state called Israel. There was once a kingdom of Israel. I've gone all about that in the thing. People weren't Jewish back then. Judaism hadn't been invented. But anyway, that was like thousands of years ago. That has nothing to do with current. Israel was invented in 1948. And they're trying to take over parts of Jordan, Lebanon, Syria, and Egypt, as well as obviously the West Bank and Gaza, which is all part of Greater Israel. And Iran is the only country in the area with enough power and motivation to actually get in their way. And Iran has been getting in their way. They fund Hezbollah. They fund Hamas. They fund the Houthi rebels in Yemen. So Israel wants Iran to stop existing. Iran wants Israel to stop existing for years and years and years. And it also should be pointed out, Iran has no nuclear weapons. There's no evidence that Iran has nuclear weapons. They've signed like nuclear non-proliferation treaties and stuff. They've allowed weapons inspectors and nuclear inspectors from the Atomic Energy Agency into their nuclear facilities, which they maintain is just peaceful. They're just trying to get nuclear power. Which also, just as a side note too, when everyone says nuclear power is, we need nuclear power, it's like, yeah, they always say that. And then they're like, yeah, but Iran and fucking North Korea and like fucking, and like they'll just list off, 50 countries that can't have nuclear power. And it's like, well, then what are we going to like fucking, then it's solar, I guess, can't. Like you can't say nuclear power is the fix to climate change and then go, but 70 different countries aren't allowed to have it because they might get a bomb. Yeah, well, fucking solar then. Fuck off. Anyway, that's a side note. What was I talking about? Yeah, Iran. So they don't have any nuclear weapons. Israel says they're making nuclear weapons. They've been saying for the last 20 years, oh, they're weeks away. I mean, you can watch a fucking supercut of Benjamin Netanyahu say they're weeks away from a nuclear weapon every fucking year for the last like 30 odd years. But anyway, Iran has allowed inspectors to come in. They maintain they're not building a nuclear weapon, all the rest of it. Who knows if they're telling the truth? They're probably not telling the truth because they're a fucking terrible regime. But Israel does have nuclear weapons. They got heaps, and we don't know exactly how many because weapons inspectors, Atomic Energy Agency, UN, they're like, fuck off. You're not coming in. Fuck you. Fuck you. So, I mean, like, I don't know. They got nuclear weapons. Are nuclear weapons good or bad? Who's allowed to have them? And, we have agencies that have treaties and stuff, and every country in the world, Israel's the only country in the world with nuclear weapons that's like, no, we don't have them and fucking fuck off. But they do have them. Like, that's well known. That's a well-known fact that they have up to 200 nuclear missiles, maybe more. But they're just like, yeah, fuck off. Fuck off, cunt. We're Israel. We do whatever the fuck we want. And they do. They do whatever the fuck they want. I need to stress this. I just can't stress this enough times. The Iranian regime is so fucking bad and Israel is so much worse. Like, it's not fucking, it's just two bad regimes and one of them's real bad. Like, they're both real bad, but one of them's real bad. Israel is so fucking bad. They've killed so many more people than Iran has. Anyway, Israel has wanted to wipe Iran off the map for a long time. Iran has also wanted to do that. Iran has not ever had the capability and never will have the capability to do that. They are not able to do that. Israel pretends that they are able to do that. They are not. It is impossible that Iran could ever defeat Israel in a war. That's just not possible. It's not even in the realm of possibility. But Israel could easily wipe out all life in Iran in about 13 minutes. All they just need to do is launch their nukes. But they have been trying to find an excuse to wipe Iran off the map for a long time. And now they finally have a president in America who's fucking dumb enough to let them do it. Because war with Iran is terrible, terrible idea. Really, really bad idea. And I think we know why, because we've been watching the news for the last few days. The question is, why is it happening now? Why is war happening now? Because fucking Donald Trump, because Benjamin Netanyahu went, I reckon I could just convince this cunt, let's just fucking bomb Iran. People have been wanting to bomb Iran for a long time. People have been wanting to go to war with Iran for a long time. Get that fucking oil. The Americans want the oil. The Israelis just want Iran to not exist. They're like, fucking, how do we? And then Netanyahu just went, fuck, man. Just like, I reckon we could just tell Trump, just fucking do it. And he will. And he will. And he did. Right? And here's the thing that people need to understand. Everyone sort of is asking, like, I keep seeing these things in the news where, like, it's like people are trying to intellectualize what Trump is doing, what Pete Hegseth is trying to say, what the American goals are, what the aims are. And they're trying to intellectualize and trying to strategize and say, like, oh, I don't know if he's made the right choice here. And well, I think, what he needs to do is he needs to put pressure on this and I just feel like I'm going crazy. Have people not figured it out yet? Trump and Hegseth and the entire administration in America, they're just fucking dumb cunts. Like, there's no point going, oh, what's the goal? Like, what do you mean the goal? What are you talking about goal? This is fucking the cunt from Celebrity Apprentice who recently shit his pants on national television, who like is a pedophile. And that's part of the reason. He's just like, oh, everyone's talking about how I'm a pedophile. Fuck, I don't know. And then someone's gone, bomb Iran maybe? And he went, fuck it. I don't give a shit. Like, they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you know this is true? Pete Hegseth and the fucking top commanders in the army, there's been all these complaints coming out that everyone's saying we are ordained to do this by God and destiny, and we are witnessing Armageddon and the second coming of Jesus Christ. Like, everything I've been saying before, where I was like, oh, you know, world leaders and stuff, and, you know, war, it's always about money and it's always about economics and all the rest of it, right? That normally is true, and it's true for so much of human history and at so many points in time. This is the first time where the US government really is like actually fucking just nutso, like no plan. Like, it's not good for their economy, not good for, like, there's like people speculating like, what's the end game? What are you talking about? It's just a fucking dumb cunt from TV who wears way too much like fucking toner, and he's dying. He's fucking dying. He's covered in bruises. He's shitting himself. And then all these weird Christian conspiracy theorists who have like fucking, there's nothing. There's no idea. There's no plan. There's no fucking plan when it comes to America. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. Israel know what the fuck they're doing. They're going, oh man, the American government's fucking cooked. We could just do it. We could do it. We could do it right now. Let's just fucking bomb the shit out of them. Fuck it. And they're doing it. Israel's trying to wipe out Iran, and Trump is just like, I'll just fucking do whatever, man. I don't care. He's eating a fillet of fish. He's getting a child to lick his asshole. He's shitting his pants. Fucking dead shit, dumb cunt. He is the biggest threat to our safety and world stability. And he's the fucking guy from Celebrity Apprentice, and I can't get over it. I can't get over it. But anyway, people around the world don't know how to think or what to do. I have seen people saying like, you know, defending Iran and say the Iranian government is good. And it's like, nah, man, they're fucking terrible. What are you talking about? People mourning the Ayatollah and stuff. The Ayatollah was a terrible man, terrible, terrible, evil man. The supreme leader was a very bad guy. And people, this is the problem, right? Is that people are unable to wrap their heads around the reality of most wars and most global conflicts, is that it's usually the bad guys versus the bad guys. We always want it to be like Ninja Turtles versus Shredder, but it's usually Shredder versus Shredder. Shredder versus Vader. Shredder versus whoever the enemy was in Biker Mice from Mars. People just can't wrap their head around the concept that it's just bad guys. It's just bad guys versus bad guys. There's no goodies and baddies. It's just baddies and baddies. And then regular people get killed. Regular people get killed in schools and in airports, and soldiers get killed by being told they're fighting for a just cause, or like in America, they're literally telling them we're going to bring about Armageddon and embrace the return of Jesus Christ. Like, I don't know who said it, some fucking communist from years ago, and it's one of the most accurate quotes ever. Maybe it was Marx, maybe it was Lenin, maybe it was fucking Trotsky, I don't know. But it was a quote that was, on either end of a bayonet is a worker. You know, the people dying, like Benjamin Netanyahu's like families on holiday in Miami while Israelis die, while Palestinians die, while Iranians die. Like, they're all getting fucking killed for these cunts who are just sitting back watching them die. Iran are the bad guys. The Iranian government are the bad guys, and Israel are the bad guys. But let's be clear too. I mean, you've got levels of bad guys. The Iran, and this is what really pisses me off when I watch the news. I can't fucking stand this, right? They talk about the Iranian government being terrible and the leader being terrible. And Chris Minns, the Premier of New South Wales, is like, oh, people are mourning the Ayatollah, and I think that's despicable. He was a terrible, evil man. I'm like, yeah, I don't disagree, but Benjamin Netanyahu's way worse. What do you do? Like, it's not even close. It's not even fucking close. He's killed, according to the Lancet, the death toll in Gaza is it could be as high as 150,000, maybe more. Benjamin Netanyahu's a wanted war criminal. Israel is the most evil country on planet Earth right now. It is an evil regime that must be toppled. If any regime needs to be toppled, it's Israel. It's terrible. Anyone who says otherwise is either talking out their ass or is completely brain dead. The Israeli government is the worst government on planet Earth today. They are terrorists. They are killers. And it doesn't even matter, right? The Iranian government is bad. You know, like if you fucking think Benjamin Netanyahu give a shit about the people, you know, because they're on the news going, oh, you know, the people of Iran, they're crying out for change. You don't give a shit. You don't give a fucking shit. You don't give two fucking shits about that. You just want the oil. You just want the money. You just want the land. You just want to be able to do what you do unimpeded. You know, if the people are crying out for change, maybe you shouldn't fucking blow up their schools. You know, the Iranian government's bad. It is. You know what other government's bad? North Korea, fucking China, fucking Belarus, Russia. Indonesian government's not great. There's governments all around the world that are fucking terrible, that are violating human rights. But we do have international law. That you can't just invade a country. And also you can't just fucking solve a problem by just bombing the shit out of it. But we have international law. Does international law have meaning or doesn't it? America and Israel broke the law. That's unambiguous. And our fucking Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, he's like, yeah, that's fine. I stand with them. I support them. Okay, cool. Well, is Australian law a suggestion? Can I break the law here in Australia? I think, should we follow Donald Trump's example and Benjamin Netanyahu's example and just break whatever laws we feel like? You know, if that's the case, then fucking suck my asshole, Anthony Albanese. Anthony Albanese. Anthony Albanese is a fucking piece of shit. I hate this cunt. I hate him more than ScoMo now. That's not true, but I fucking hate him. Maybe it's true. He's the fucking slimy Anthony Albanese, Penny Wong, these fucking pieces of shit. They're shaking hands with the fucking Israeli president. They're fucking supporting Israel. Australia was the first country and one of the only countries to stand up and go, we love what the US just did. Fucking dog. Absolute fucking dog. And also remember too, any Australians, right? If we end up joining this war, which, I mean, we've got treaties with America and shit. I mean, fuck, we sell weapons to Israel. We have US military bases on our fucking soil. We have like the one of the largest fucking intelligence US fucking bases in the middle of the country. If we get involved, you're going to die. Your kids are going to die. Anthony Albanese and Penny Wong are going to be fucking fine. There's Australians stranded over in the Middle East now. Who knows if they'll get killed in fucking strikes. There's the Dubai, fucking Qatar, they're getting bombed. Who knows if, you know, Australians will die. But I'll tell you, who is going to make it here okay is everyone in the Formula One. Somehow they'll get here okay. Somehow there's people in the Formula One that are in the Middle East right now, but they'll get here okay. Don't worry. That'll be sorted out. The Grand Prix will go ahead. Don't worry about that. So that's the history of how we got here with Iran, why the war happened, what's going on. This is unbiased, just a factual account.
Great! You are everything that's gone wrong in this world.
Want the truth? You can't handle the truth. Shall not pass!
Vito's about a 4 is an ass muncher. Oh!
But the reason you're listening to this is because little babies, like a suckling pig. I don't know what that means. Like a little kangaroo in its mother's pouch. You want to grasp onto my nipple for the sweet milk of opinion. You want to know, what do I think? Like, you want to know, and this is you saying this, not me. You're saying, Greg, what's my opinion? I need to tell you what your opinion is so you can have an opinion. Because you could be conflicted. You sit there and go, you know what? Iran sucks. Iran does suck. It's a bad country. And I see this footage in the streets. You know, ABC is showing footage in the streets of like Iranians celebrating, going, you've liberated our country. Thank you so much. Although I'm going to say this, and this is bordering into conspiracy theory, but it's also not like, it's absolutely not unprecedented, and it's absolutely not outside the realm of possibility. I've seen some protesters in the CBD of Melbourne that are calling for return to the Shah of Iran, returning to the monarchy, right? And on the TV, I've seen, scenes on the ABC going, people in Sydney and Melbourne were celebrating today, and there were people that were waving like the sort of the flag of the monarchy of Iran. And out of what you got to remember, right? There's so many people in Iran who want this regime toppled. There's a lot that don't. There's a lot that do. There's the person that wants a return to the Shah of Iran is no one. Nobody wants that. Who the fuck is this person? Everyone hated it. It was a popular revolution with multiple different groups of people. Like, it was the entire country rose up again. The country just ran away. Nobody wanted the Shah of Iran. It was the one thing that everyone could agree on. They couldn't agree on what the government would look like afterwards, and it ended up being a fucked, corrupt, terrible regime. I don't know if it's corrupt. I'm sure it's corrupt, but it ended up being but the one thing they all agreed on was fucking get the Shah out of here. Who are these fucking people? And these are people that don't even remember the Shah. Like, I'm looking at their ages. This was 1979. The Shah was overthrown. I'm seeing like 40-year-olds and stuff. And I'm like, who the fuck are you? And I'm seeing all these scenes of these celebrations, and I've seen them in America and England and Australia in multiple cities, and they look identical. It's just a bunch of like wealthy boomers holding brand new flags that they all bought, and they've all got the same flagpole. So they're all like, someone's given them all these flags, and they've got these really nice printed out pictures of like the Shah of Iran. And then there's always like 3 people with an Australian flag, and then 2 people with an Israeli flag. Who are these people? And everywhere I saw them from America, there's the same. There's like 50 people with these like celebrating, the Iranian monarchy, then 2 people with an American flag, then 2 people with an Israeli flag, and all the flags brand new, and like fucking. And these small little crowds just gathering everywhere around the world, all holding the Iranian monarchy, the local flag, and then the Israeli flag. Who are these people? It fucking doesn't add up. That's a conspiracy. What I'm saying is this one of these paid for type things? Are they like, who are these people? Right? Nobody fucking. It's like you've got these demographics. Who the fuck is this person? It's like, I love Israel. I love America. I love the Shah of Iran. Nobody liked the Shah of Iran. Anyway, that's an opinion. But what are we supposed to think? Geggy, tell us what to think. Do you support Iran? No. Like, these people, you fucking don't fall into this trap of like, well, you got to support one of the sides. No, you don't. No, you don't. The Iranian government is a terrible regime. But like, fucking, if you might be thinking, well, Greg, how do we fix it? What do we do? I don't fucking know. I'm a cunt with a podcast with all these Michael Jackson sounds on it.
Israel is committing genocide. Israel is an apartheid state.
Price check on boycott Israel. Price check on boycott Israel.
All I know is that it's an illegal war, and there's no fucking way we should be involved in any way, shape, or form. It's made the world less safe. I don't know what to fucking do. I don't know how to fucking, I wish I could wave a magic wand and help people. I can't fucking help anyone. I don't know what the fuck to do. All I know is we need to stay the fuck out of it. There's nothing good is going to happen from bombing Iran. Nothing. It's like people there are under a brutal regime. Oh, cool. And now you fucking killed a bunch of them. Cool. What's that going to do? What's it going to do? What's going to, like, if I was in a brutal regime, I'd be like, oh man, I hate this government. And then if another government killed my mum and dad in a fucking firebombing, I'd go, oh cool, now there's two governments I hate. Fucking America and this one. You know, like, you're just like, cool, all right, we bombed them. Now I hate America too. Now I hate Israel even more. Like, now fucking, oh, I'm in a criminal gang. Cool, now there's bombings happening. Now I'm going to go do some crimes and kill some people. You're just going to fucking create chaos and killing and death. If the Iranian people want to rise up and like, we can't help them. Like, let them do it. Like, fucking, we can't. I don't fucking know. I don't fucking know what to do. All I know is stay the fuck out of it. Nothing ever good came from going to another country and fucking sending over missiles and bombs and drones and shit. Like, it's just going to, like, fuck you and fuck you for putting us all in danger. Now we're all fucking in danger. Now we're all getting into it. Now the fucking global trade is ground to a halt. Now people are fucking going crazy. People are getting bombed in other countries. There's going to be bombings all around the world. It could escalate. More countries could get involved. It could just be the start of World War III. Fuck knows. Stay the fuck out of it. The enemy, my enemy is not the fucking Ayatollah or whatever. They've never been able to fucking hit Australia with a missile. Fucking Trump is my enemy. Anthony Albanese is my enemy. Benjamin Netanyahu is my enemy. These are evil, evil, terrible people who are trying to kill us all. They're all just as bad as, if not worse than the fucking Ayatollah and the supreme leader. On either end of a bayonet is a worker. They're just starting a war and people like you and me are going to die. Fuck that. Fuck, I want nothing more than to cut all ties, diplomatic and trade with America and with Israel. Fuck those two countries. Piece of shit countries. Fuck off. Anthony Albanese, fuck you, you piece of shit. Fuck off. Fuck off. Fuck off.
Hey, that's a spicy meatball.
Anyway, hopefully we don't all die in a war. And if we don't, come and see my comedy festival shows, Unrelenting Ultraviolence, coming to a city near you. Go onto my Patreon, support me on Patreon, and I'll see you next time with the Greg Larson Show.
The Greg Larson Show. The big unit is ready to go. The Greg Larson Show. Muck around on the massive band. A fresh custard in his hand. The greatest podcast in all the land. Greg Larson Show.